Hi friends, welcome to my channel. I'm Loli. Today's video we will be doing some Valentine's Day DIYs. This is a collaboration hosted by the Roasted Willow and also co-hosted by Marika Creations and DIY from house to home. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in to the video. DIY number 1. We're gonna use one of these rectangular shadow boxes from the Dollar Tree. The joints were a little bit loose, so I went in, I tried to spread it open a little bit and get some hot glue in the groove and press it into place to make sure that this is nicely supported, and I remove any excess glue from the surface. I did this with 4 of the sides. Then I removed the hanger and painted the frame with gold paint from Kryolan. Then I took this gift bag and I'm going to be removing the side where the bag folds, and I'm going to be using this as a backing. In order to find out the perfect size, what I did is I placed it into the rectangle, and then I creased in the other sides to give me a little indentation so I knew exactly where to cut. Then I cut along the entire crease. Then I checked for measure one more time, make sure that everything was correct. Oh, and it wasn't. It was still a little big, so I creased it one more time, and I'm going to go back and cut it all over again. I really wanted it to be a pretty good fit. Once everything fit as I expected, I removed the paper and I came in with some white glue from the Dollar Tree. I just spread it around the entire surface, then took a little paintbrush and spread it evenly on the entire surface. Once the entire surface was coated, I put my paper right back down, and I am using my hand to remove any bubbles, and then I came in with my scraper. I did use a little bit too much of the glue, so here you see me scraping the excess off and just wiping it off with a paper towel. While that's set, I'm going to be taking one of these hearts from the Dollar Tree. I just applied some heat to the little bow section there just to melt the glue, and I'm going to just remove it. Then I had a little bit of glue left over, so I used my scraper to try to remove it. It didn't quite take all of it. Then I came in with a little baby wipe, tried to scrape it off. It didn't work. I scraped it one more time. It was still there, so I just took my sanding block and I just sanded off the little end that was remaining. Then I took my Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint and I applied it to the entire surface. I gave this heart 3 complete coats. I sanded it and let it dry in between. Once both pieces were dry, I took 2 tumbling lava blocks and I'm going to glue them to the back of the heart. Once I went to apply the heart, I didn't like how it looked, so I wanted to change the gold for some white. So I took linen white chalk paint and I'm going to repaint the frame instead with my linen white chalk paint. I gave it 2 coats of paint, making sure not to mess up the backing. I then went back to the heart and I'm going to embellish it using some of this burlap ribbon that I've also found at Dollar Tree. I cut the ribbon to my desired size and then I removed some of the threads from the top and bottom to give it more of a rustic look. Then I took my scissors and I'm trimming off a little bit excess of that, adding some hot glue to the backing and folding the burlap ribbon over it to attach it securely. I repeated this process also with the other side, making sure that everything was straight and taut. I had 2 choices of ribbon. I had a darker and a lighter. I went with the lighter choice and I'm going to position it right in the middle right there of the burlap. I cut a piece that was big enough to fold over and I ran a bead of hot glue across my burlap and I'm going to lightly position the ribbon right on top of that. Then I'm going to flip my heart over and tack the little ends on the back as well. Just be very careful not to burn your fingers. Friends, as I said earlier, this is a collaboration. There are many talented creators making some DIYs for your inspiration, so be sure to stop at the description box below and visit their channels and play the playlist listed as well. I found this pack of felt hearts at the Dollar Tree. and I'm taking one that is white and hot pink, and I'm going to glue it right at the center of the ribbon. Now I'm ready to attach the heart to the shadow box. I placed it right in the middle, apply some hot glue to the tumbling top of blocks, and pressed it down. And now we're going to be making a hanger using these black beads that I also found on the Dollar Tree. And I'm just threading them onto the same jute cord that the piece came with. Friends, if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to subscribe. It is free and it means the world to me. Once I was done threading the beads, I just repositioned the hanger back onto the shadow box. And here it is. I really love this. Let me know if you would have left it gold or went with the white as I did. And let me know how you like it. DIY number 2. For this project, I'm using one of these glass bases from the Dollar Tree. I got this in clearance section. It was a quarter, removed the little plastic piece and the sticker. The first thing that I did was completely coat the glass with some Mod Podge. I let it dry. I used my little heat gun, but I have to warn you, please be careful. It's easy to burn yourself. The glass really warms up and it's easy to get burnt. When everything was dry, I took some Rust-Oleum linen white chalk paint and I completely covered the entire glass. I used a Mod Podge to avoid some streaking. Then I took my black folk art chalk paint and I used one of these little sponges, and what I want to do is bring out those little raised areas on the glass, and I want to make this look like if it was a chipped enamel thin instead. If you're inspired to recreate this project, I will suggest that you use a smaller sponge. That will give you more control of where the paint goes. The jar has an indentation where you can put a sticker or write in, so there I am completely filling in that area with my black chalk paint. First I use the sponge just to saturate the area, and then I'm coming in with my brush to give it a nice clean look. If you're enjoying these DIYs, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. The bigger sponge left me with some distressing that I was not anticipating to have. So I am going back in with my linen white Rust-Oleum chalk paint with a small brush, and I'm just lightening up some areas that were a little bit too distressed for my liking. And also I can give it this little like gray-like effect and give it more depth. And I think that blending these two colors made it look more realistic, more like an enamel chipped vase. Once the vase was dry, I took some of this floral foam from the Dollar Tree. I measured the amount that will fit inside the jar. I trimmed the corners off so it has rounded edges and it comes into the jar without any issues. Then I put the remaining pieces on the sides to keep everything in place. Then I took some of the hot glue and I am adding it on top of the floral foam, and I'm going to add some floral moss on top of it to cover the floral foam. Friends, I hope that you have been enjoying the video. Don't forget to stop by and do the playlist, stop by the hosts, and let them know Loli sent you. Now it's time for the shake test. Everything is attached properly, so now we are ready to embellish this vase. We're going to be using these pink roses I got from the Dollar Tree, and I started by just putting one in the center of the arrangement, and I'm going to be positioning the rest alongside of them, trying to make it look as a tiny bouquet. I try to space them as evenly as possible and just rearranging some to make sure that I don't have any holes. And then here what I'm doing is heating up my roses to remove all the wrinkle and the droopiness for them and open up the petals so they look like more refreshed. You'll see how much better these petals will look once I apply the heat. Just be very careful to do the heat gun pretty further out so you don't burn your flowers. And you think I am done, you'll be wrong. We are going to be adding a little bit more to this, just a tiny touch to bring everything together. This is one of the little red wooden hearts that come in a pack from the Dollar Tree. I removed the little foam that it comes with and added some hot glue, and I pressed it down directly in the middle of the black section where the lettering will be. I pressed it down, make sure that it was secure, and then I'm going to turn it on its side and I'm going to add more hot glue in the back of the heart to ensure that this stays in place. I did it to both sides of the heart. And this is how this guy turned out. I absolutely love it. It is absolutely beautiful. So cute, so darling. It will be great for a little nightstand or coffee table. Let me know how you like it. DIY number 3. For this project, I used one of these wood rounds from the Dollar Tree. I removed the tag and hanger, and I'm taking my roasted and linen white chalk paint and I am painting half of this wood round with it. Without skipping a beat, I did the same thing with this folk art chalk paint from folk art. I painted the other half, or a little bit less than a half as well, of the wood round. While that dried, I took one of these love signs from the Dollar Tree and painted it with my apple red apple barrel acrylic paint. I gave it a total of 2 coats. To add in a pop of color, I'm going to use this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. But before anything, I wanted to distress my love sign. So I took a small amount of my black chalk paint. I am doing a very light dry brush over this love sign just to make it look a little bit worn. Then I went to my block and I'm going to sand it down just to remove some edges that were rough, and I'm going to make sure to remove all of the dust off the surface, and I'm going to give this another sanding on the black area. I want to leave some of those white streaks on there, and I'm going to come back in with some more of my black chalk paint, and I'm going to do like a messy kind of second coat just to have like a variation between where the sanding block hit it and where the new paint is, just to give it a little bit more depth and variance in the color. Just to speed things up, I used my heat gun to dry the paint, and I made sure not to neglect the edges. Now I'm bringing back the ribbon. I am getting ready to place it on my round, but as I did position it where I wanted it, I realized that you can see through the ribbon the black and the white paint, and I did not want that look. So I used the same ribbon to trace where I want to add some more black chalk paint in order for everything to be nice and symmetrical and there's no variation behind the ribbon as well. So I just came in adding some more of the black paint. I didn't feel like taping it. I just really didn't want to like search for my tape. So I just, cut it like that, but it will be a lot easier if you use a strip of paint so you can paint a lot faster. Painting like this for me is very relaxing. So that's why I chose to do it this way as well as laziness. Now that the paint is dry, it's time to attach the ribbon. So I took a bead of hot glue and I run it across that line between the white and the black, and I placed the edge of the ribbon onto it. Then I repeated the same process with the other side. I just tacked the corner first, and now I'm adding the hot glue to the edge of the ribbon and I am tacking it down. Now I am cutting the excess of ribbon so we are able to attaches. First, I cut it so it will curve around the round easier. So I just split it in half, added some hot glue, and tacked both pieces down, making sure that everything is nice and taut. Be careful you don't get burned. Now we're going to repeat the same process with the other side. I'm just going to create the slit and add the glue and press down onto the round to make sure that we have a nice, secure, and neat seam. Now it's time to dust off the round, just making sure that everything is nice and clean. And now it's time to attach the love sign. I use some gel super glue and some hot glue, so I'm able to continue working with this piece. And I have very quick dry time. Now it's time to upgrade the hanger. What I did was I took these black beads from the Dollar Tree and I'm going to thread them onto the hanger that already came with this round. And nope, we're not done yet. We are going to add a little bit more. I took some of these stickers from the Dollar Tree, they're wooden heart stickers, and I'm just right now just using the foam to position them. I'm not sure just yet exactly where they're all gonna go, but I do like the pink ones in the top there. And I'm going to take some of the wooden ones and paint them with my Rust-Oleum chalk paint in white. And I'm just gonna let them dry really quickly. But I have no patience, so I enlisted the help of my heat gun to help me get things done a lot quicker. Once they were both dry, I just played around with the placement and I ended up attaching a red heart in the middle. And now I'm distressing that with a little bit of black, and I'm adding in some of that apple red as well. I just wanted that red to really match with the love sign, so I added a little bit of that red onto the love sign once again, just to blend things in. Once I was happy with the placement of the hearts, I removed the foam from the bottom and I attached every single one of them with some hot glue. This day I thought I was done, but then the following day I came back and I said I need a bow. So I'm taking some more that ribbon that I used in the middle to start up a messy bow. First thing that I did was fold it in half, and then I folded it on half long ways as well, and I'm going to cut it on an angle to create dovetails. And this is how it ended up when I was done doing that process. Now I am coming in with the leftover burlap that I used for one of the previous DIYs, and it was quite the end, so it was completely bent. So here I am trying to straighten it up so I can position it as straight as possible on top of the other ribbon. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same process and dovetail the ends. Now I'm coming in with this pink ribbon that we used for the previous DIY, and I'm going to do the same process pretty much, folding it in half on its own. I'm going to cut the section that will be long enough to crisscross with the other ones, and I'm going to also dovetail the ends for these ribbons. Then I unholstered like 3 different kinds of ribbons that I've brought from my stash downstairs, or 4 different kinds of ribbons. And I'm going to start with this one that has like edges that are little hearts, and I'm going to add it to that. And I had this one that's burlap with hearts. I'm going to also cut a little piece of that. I'm going to dovetail the ends for these ones. I dovetail the ends for pretty much every single one of the ribbons besides the one that has the heart trimming. Those we're not able to do. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my first attempt of a messy bow, And I'm kind of pretty, you know, proud of myself for being able to make it. It came out really cute. I pretty much did a crisscross. I found this method to be a little bit easier. I actually learned this method for Kathy Jo, that she did it once in one of her videos, and I always wanted to try it. Here I am doing the last piece of ribbon that I'll be doing for this, dovetailing the ends once again. I took okay, I lied. I forgot to do the second one of the burlap with the heart, so I'm doing that one now. Again, dovetailing the ends, and I'm going to just place it on the opposite direction in which the other heart burlap one is, so that way we are evening out each of the sides. Then I took the bow, and I'm going to use that little twine that I removed off the burlap to tie this all together. So what I did is I cinched it a little bit in the middle, tied it nice and tight, tied it towards the back, and did a double knot in the back. Then I played around with the ribbons, just making sure that everything was nice and straight and it was looking as tidy as a messy bow could be. And then I removed the ends of the burlap twine that I used, snipped it off with the scissors, and now it's time to attach my bow. I used some hot glue. I attach it right at the center on top of the love sign, and I'm going to hold it in place until the paint sets. Then I took another one of those hearts and the other painted white, and I positioned it right in the middle of the messy bow. And this is actually the end for this one. I am very satisfied with this one. It turned out so stinking cute. Look at it, guys. I just, it's much better than I imagined. I hope that you guys enjoyed these videos. I hope you love these DIYs. Let me know which one is your favorite. And as always, be blessed, be a blessing, and craft responsibly. And here are my social media links, but stay tuned for some videos at the end of my video as well. And don't forget to visit the playlist for my friends as well. Thank you as always. Have an amazing day. Bye.